I think every week there's something to look forward to. I think starting this new year, there's a lot to look forward to. We'll be hearing lots of great things from very special and very important family members of our community and our movement. I hope that this time can be rejuvenating for us. It can be inspiring, and the spirit and energy that was in the Prudential Center on December 28th can still be in our hearts and fuel the fire inside of us to march forward into 2020 as we all try to prepare and help and support True Mother for Foundation Day that's coming very soon. We thank you for this opportunity to meet together, and we ask that you bless this time for everyone here. And we pray these things in our names, Nathan Bratcher and Elisa De Silva, a blessed central couple. Aju.
Aju. Thank you, Nathan. Oh, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. This is our Empower Hour. Specifically the theme for this one is to feel the pulse of the Providence. We're blessed to have Reverend Demian with us today, and just to get his insight on what's going on with the Providence and everything that's going on. It's been really been an exciting and crazy few weeks. And now that you guys are more settled and you guys have settled in back at home, I think it's good to just realign ourselves with everything. It's very easy to go from these big events and then right back home, and then it's kind of like a void, right? So it's really good that we connect like this, and we continue to connect with what's going on providentially, so we can especially align ourselves in the new year in the right orientation. So thank you all. So we're going to start off with, I'm going to pass this to Ginny, and Ginny's going to lead us in some Hundake, in a Hundake session. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Nice to see everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. Yes. All right, so let's see if this is going to work. So today's Hundake for 2020, it's on Family Fed, and this is Mother's speech from the victory celebration the morning after the rally, December 29th, 2019. It was held at East Garden. It was really quick. Mother only had a few moments to spare with everyone because she had 3 meetings lined up before flying out that day. And this is just a portion of the speech. So I encourage you to go online. You can find the whole speech on familyfed.org. But yeah, this is the kind of the second half, or the ending of the speech that she shared. Really her gratitude and her joy for the rally, but also determination moving forward. So here's Mother's words. The truth has now been revealed by the true Mother, the only begotten daughter of God. As I said yesterday, all the blessed families and clergy that are living and working in the same era as I must become those who will remain in history forever as heroes. Just before, Dr. Ki-Hoon Kim told us about one minister who testified, saying that he will write his own Acts of the Apostles. This is a good idea. True parents, the day we establish Chanaguk will be the day we are victorious in achieving Heavenly Parents' dream and humankind's wish while attending the True Parents. Yesterday, the title of my message was Chanaguk is the completion of heaven's providence. Do not forget that you are in qualified positions to become central figures of Chanaguk. Therefore, this nation, which heaven has prepared for over 200 years, is blessed, but its blessing is not America's own. Its blessing is for the world. However, Americans today think only of their own nation's gain. You must not do this. The stronger your nation is, the more you must care for the less fortunate nations around you. To God, we are all brothers and sister nations. True parents especially blessed America as the elder son nation. Therefore, the eldest son must embrace all his brothers and sisters. Yet another problem is that America comprises of United States. There are 50 states. The Family Federation flag does not fly in all 50 states. Thus, all our ministers, centering on President Demian Dunkley, should put down roots in all 50 states. Do you understand? As a filial elder son nation, I hope that its people will return joy to heaven for God's blessing. you will do your best to become an America that will be remembered by heaven forever. I especially have hope because our second generation unificationists are taking the lead. And that was the end of her message that morning. So I wanted to highlight this message for several reasons. One, I think you can feel Mother's gratitude and Mother's victory. She really claimed the victory of the rally. And at the same time, she's still clarifying that, as the elder son nation, as America, we still have responsibility. We still have a providence to keep moving forward, to keep testifying to true mother. And I think she really highlighted our leaders who are leading the way, taking responsibility and really guiding us in alignment with true mother. Mother mentioned Dr. Kim, Mother mentioned Reverend Dunkley by name. And I think Mother can feel their sincere and filial heart towards her. And I think she really trusts them as her representatives. And I think we really have a lot of reasons to have trust in our leadership in this time, that they're really taking us in alignment with true parents. And lastly, her very last words was that I especially have hope because our second generation unificationists are taking the lead. So I think Mother felt a lot of energy from the young people this past weekend with the rally, and not just the rally, but she can really feel our sincere heart to respond to her and to take ownership, to give her hope. And I think, she must really be eager to see, those young people who are really one in heart with her. So, each of us, we were a portion of that offering that could give Mother hope when she came to America this time. So yeah, I'm really proud to be a part of this network of young people all over the nation who are really striving to be one in heart with Mother. And yeah, thank you. So that's it for Hunduke. I'm just going to share two quick announcements, and then we're going to go to our main speaker for today. So one announcement is the Hyojung pilgrimage in Korea. If you haven't heard, of course we know 2020 is going to be incredible, historic. The cosmic level foundation of substance is the World Summit. And, for those of us, we have the opportunity to take part in it by joining the Hyojung pilgrimage in Korea. There's more information on Family Fed. And second announcement, for those of you who are interested or qualified, just a reminder that the 24 Plus Connect is coming up in April. So, one last announcement. It's someone's birthday, not today, but coming up on Wednesday. Someone we love dearly. It's going to be Dr. Kim's birthday on Wednesday. So be sure to wish him send him a Facebook message, or if you have his phone number, email, send him all our love. And yes, last announcement. Sorry, we don't have a graphic, but the Wonmo Pyongyang scholarships are open, accepting applications. Teresa just posted the link on the chat. So if you are a student, please check that out. And True Mother wants to support you. All right, so that's it for the announcements. And so I guess I can introduce our main speaker for today. I had the opportunity to sit in class with him earlier today, which was a really, really great experience. We're taking a class with Dr. Ward, and I could see his humility as a student to learn. But also, it was interesting. We were introducing ourselves, and from our president, he stood up. His introduction was very short, but he said something along the lines of I'm Demian Dunkley. I was born to share True Mother in the 21st century, or something like that. I was really inspired, but also reassured by the sense of purpose that he really carries in his heart. It's not just a role, but it's really, who he feels he's called to be at this time. So I'm really grateful to, for our president, and I guess let's give it up for Reverend Dunkley.
Hey guys,
Eh,
so I'm a little worried because I just entered the Lincoln Tunnel and I might be in a spuddy zone for like 3 minutes. Do you have anything else you'd like to do for the next 3 minutes?
Yeah, we
Sorry.
actually have some testimonies prepared. If we can run through those first, or run
Why
through
don't you
one of them.
do one of those first, so
All right.
I don't get chopped in bits. Thanks,
Great.
Janelle. Sorry. Thanks, Josh, too.
So yes, so we actually Kayleigh Nuna wanted to offer a testimony to all of you guys about her experience yesterday at the victory celebration in her area. So let's give it up for Kayleigh.
Yay. Okay, cool. I'm happy to share actually as an introduction. It has a lot to do with Reverend Dunkley. So yesterday, my district coordinated a victory celebration, or more like an appreciation banquet for our district after the rally. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I really struggle with those kinds of events, and I really did not want to go, and they wanted me to give a talk, and I was just like really not wanting to. And it's one of those things, like when it's a national level program and there's a lot of energy, those have like real impact for me. But my experience sometimes at local programs is not that level. And there's all the baggage of the community I grew up with in my whole life, and my parents are there, and you know, there's all that going on for me. And as I step into like this national role, they still sometimes see me as like the youth pastor or their niece, and I'm struggling with all of that. So I really didn't want to go, and I wasn't feeling well, and my kids were all sick. And so I drove with my parents. I felt like a teenager driving to the church event with my parents, sitting in the back seat again. I haven't done that in a long time. And just digesting some stuff that we were talking about. And I showed up to this banquet really not feeling so inspired. And I was trying to get all these young people to come sit with me, but as is custom, unfortunately, they were all standing in the back or in the hallway. And I was like, man, no one is like representing with me. So I sat in the front with my parents again, and with some other of my elder aunts and uncles. And then, you know, here comes Reverend Dunkley. He just walks into this room, and it was like such a fresh breath of air. And, you know, I was sitting at his table before he got there, and I was struggling, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to sit at this table. I'm going to go sit at this table, because I was really having a hard time feeling comfortable and proud of who I was and at ease. But I watched Demian sit there and really relate with people with such like authentic love and appreciation and so much hope. And so he gave his talk last night, and as soon as he started speaking, like the first few minutes, I had to whip out my phone because it was like so good. And I was like, shoot, I wish I had recorded it from the beginning. But the very beginning message, and I will pass this on because it really touched me, or like hit me hard. He said something along the lines of, you know, if everything is going perfectly, you must be doing something wrong, because it means you're not giving space for God and the Spirit to work through you. And it brought so much comfort to me, because I feel so unsure about many of the things that we're doing and the things that we're working on. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what Reverend Dunkley goes through on a regular basis, and the uncertainty and the every moment things are coming up. But he's standing up there on stage, and he's challenging all of us to really believe and think about who Mother is as an only begotten daughter. And he's in, you guys, people at this event, there was the King of Benin there, which is an African nation, sitting at the same table as Demian. And he's so confident, and it just like oozes out of him. And it's not like a personal confidence, it's a confidence in true parents and a confidence in what's happening in the Providence. And it shifted my whole energy, and it shifted the whole energy of the room. And many people came up to me afterwards and asked me for my recording of the talk, because they all really felt it. So I was so grateful, and I literally felt, and I texted him afterwards, and I was like, I am so grateful to be able to just sit at your feet and learn from you, because there is so much that I have to inherit. So it made me so grateful for him and his leadership and his unity with Dr. Kim and True Mother. And like, what a special time to be alive at this time where we can really trust our leaders and really have this relationship of love and trust. So yeah, my testimony is in gratitude to our leadership, and especially to Reverend Dunkley. Thank you.
Oh,
I think that's a great introduction.
wow. Thank you, Kayla. I am out of the tunnel, and I had no idea, aside from the text that when you sent me, I had no idea that it's very interesting what you mentioned also about how it feels to be participating in those types of events when in your own community. Anyway, I think it's said and widely known that a prophet in his own town is rarely understood, right? So we all go through that, and we're all really proud of you, and thank you for like sticking, not leaving. Thank you, because that was really great. It was really comforting to see you there. You came and gave me a hug, and God bless you and your family. I'm now just putting gas in the car. Okay, so yes, I'm in class with Janil today, and one of our objectives this evening is to read, yes, Phil, regular, please. 10001. One of our homework assignments tonight, Kayla, is to read the entire, or 80% of the entire Causa manual. So it's a mere 173 pages, right, Janil? Gotta read that and write a review on that. But one thing that stood out to me in the reading was the reason that America lost the Vietnam War was not because of a lack of money, manpower, or weapons. In fact, we left $5 billion worth of weaponry there when we bailed. The reason was not because of the weapons, but because of the men. And I forget which quote this is, but the quote said that those who were fighting on the part of communism knew what they were fighting for and were willing to die what they were fighting for. They had an idea they were putting into practice. They had an ideology that they lived by, and they believed it. And that's why we lost, because the American fighters did not know what we were fighting for and did not know why we were there. And this in of itself, on this call, you might have people on this call who have different understandings about the Vietnam War or might not care, but this is essentially the fight between good and evil. And the reason I bring it up is because we are doing something that is extremely substantial. Whether you look at an event or whether you look at some type of campaign or some type of educational program or whatever it is that you see the church doing, don't be tempted into the misunderstanding that it's just the event or it's just the number or this, that, and the other. It is all incredibly, incredibly meaningful, purposeful, and substantial. And the more that you study history, the more that you study the church history, Christian history, and especially True Parents course and life course in history, you'll see time and again major geopolitical catastrophes occurring literally because we either failed or did not, or failed to achieve some condition by some time frame. That might or might not be something that inspires you. That might turn you off even more. But personally, I'm way too lazy, as I mentioned in DC. I'm way too lazy to be investing this much in something that isn't like the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing happening on the planet, and it's the biggest thing happening in human history. That is your awareness to lose. It is your blessing to be confused about. It is your victory to throw away, and it is your legacy to ignore. It is incredible. And so I only start with that because I was just reading it in the Causa manual, and I thought it would be a good segue. Anyway, the main point is, Happy New Year, or is it? It's not actually New Year. You know, there's something that I didn't share with anybody yet, apart from maybe 3 or 4 people, that on the 27th of December, Dr. Kim called myself and Dr. Jenkins to a secret meeting with someone really special. Her name is the only begotten daughter of God. the Messiah. And we sat at her feet for about 20 minutes and then ate at her table. And I'll share the whole conversation with you sometime. But what was interesting was that Kayleigh, that was the meeting in which she said, you know, give me a list of names I want to give a Christmas present to, right? So that was one of the things that happened in that meeting, but which later turned into a youth game for the youth, right? But Mother said that Christmas has become sort of so commercialized, and that God wants to really fix this point. So Mother loves Christmas, I think. She loves Christmas. When you go to Korea, you see Christmas trees, Christmas decorations. But the thing you'll notice is if you go to Cheonjeonggung, if you go to the palace, you'll see even in February, the Christmas trees are still up there. Why do you think? So I don't know, maybe, you know, you're of Jewish descent, I think, right? Kayla, I don't know if you even care about Christmas. But anyway, Christmas, we celebrate Christmas to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, but we don't actually know when he was born. And in reality, we should now really be celebrating True Parents' birthday. So all of the incredible excitement that is generated around our current day Christmas really needs to be shifted over to the new Christmas. And she doesn't want it to be so commercialized, but I do notice that she loves giving and receiving presents. So don't worry, kids. Presents are still part of the future Cheonjeonggung culture of Christmas. But what I wanted to share this was because she said that Christmas really should start on God's day and end with True Parents' birthday. So those days are a week apart. God's day this year falls on January 25. So I hope you've all enjoyed making your New Year's resolutions and your prayers and your reflections. That was all basically a dress rehearsal for a couple weeks from now. That's the real new year. Kayleigh, I really want to start thinking about the heavenly calendar. Now, when Mother was stroking her pillow, she was sitting cross-legged without her shoes on her couch, and there was, you know, me, Dr. Kim, and Dr. Jenkins sitting on the floor like three little boys at her feet. And as she's gently stroking the pillows either side of her, she said, you know, I know it's not going to be easy. I know it's going to take time, but this is really important. We need to shift Christmas. And she's talking, I mean, shifting the calendar is already, we're pulling our hair out just to understand about the calendar. But now she's talking about shifting Christmas. So it's important for you all to understand even the origin of our calendar and really how arbitrary it is anyway. But also, you know, the choice of December 25th. And in fact, we're not even in agreement as it stands. The whole world is really in confusion about what holiday to honor and when and why. So True Parents, guess what? They're cleaning up the whole holiday scene as well. I bring it up because I want America, starting with the youth, and that's really what Christmas is about. I really hope that America can help our true mother, not feel like she showed me as she was stroking her pillows, not despondently, but almost despondently, fully aware of how much work is involved in shifting everybody's mindset and a new culture. What she envisions is a whole week of celebration, starting on the first of the year, God's Day, going through to True Parents' birthday as a wonderful conclusion. Imagine the day when we're pulling our kids out, or I don't know if parents really would like this idea, but imagine the day for children when they're out of school for the whole week of Christmas, from God's Day to True Parents' birthday, and there's devotion and there's prayer and there's maybe, you know, honoring our ancestors, and there's spending time with family and friends and playing games and drinking hot cocoa and then sharing gifts and having trees. I think Mother will still want Christmas trees. So, you know, why not lead with that? And I bring this up because apparently this is Providential Pulse Monday, and I think this is significant in terms of the providence. I'm going to get onto one other point after this. But I bring it up because this January 25th is a Saturday. So what, and Dr. Kim told us a couple of days ago that he wants America to celebrate True Parents' birthday before we go to Korea. he wants every state in America to celebrate True Parents' birthday before we go to Korea. And I'll get onto the Korean trip in a minute. That'll be my final point, because that's kind of the next big thing. But the reason I bring this up is because we should all be involved in this. We should play a role in this. And I think America and the American youth can really lead with a heart of Hyojung to respond to this secret whisper from Mother. I mean, she hasn't announced this to anybody. I'm just letting you know what's on her mind here. And I suggested to Dr. Kim that, well, if we're going to have some type of a celebration in America, let's hold it on God's Day, which Mother already said should be the first day of this week-long celebration. And then the leaders will fly off to Korea and do what they do. But we've already kind of anchored that celebration here in America before we go. Dr. Kim's guidance is that he really wants us to harness the momentum of the incredible victory. So what does that mean? You know, think of what Mother's asking Christianity to do. And there's not enough time on this call for me to go into it, okay? But that's why I kind of referenced Vietnam. And that idea of being willing to die for an idea. That is what wins the war. And we are at war. We are in an ideological war. And we could even say that we're in an ideological war between God, who has an idea, and the rest of humanity that's clueless. It would be easy if that's what it was. But in fact, it's not like humanity's clueless. There are very much antagonistic and opposing ideas working against God's providence. It might not be so much communism anymore, but there's still other things at play. So we need to know what we're doing. And what we're doing is attending Mother and doing what she says. And it helps. It really does help. So Dr. Kim's hope is that for these celebrations that we host in America, they should really be hosted by ACLC, or at least co-hosted with ACLC. What does that mean? It means the clergy should pony up and do some fundraising to conduct these parties. They should even contribute to some of the cost of the fruit to set up the offering tables. And Joshua, I want, you know, Saturday morning, it's going to be a 7 a.m. offering table thing, just like we do. And then I was talking about this with Tal, and she was saying, well, do we send the announcement that the clergy should also be invited to the 7 a.m. portion? I said, yeah, we should lead with our culture. We should not water it down or hide it. They might not all show up at 7, but we should lead. We should say, this is the first day of the heavenly calendar. This is a day we call God's Day or Heavenly Parents' Day. And this is an hour, 7 p.m., which is really the comfortable hour. It's not 5 or 6 a.m. This is the hour in which we set up our offerings, these fruits representing all the offerings of the year, to start the new year with our families, with our partners, one and all. We want our Christian clergy to be there with us. And we want them to help us co-host that celebration. And then following that, we'll do sort of an adapted prayer breakfast type of celebratory event. And Dr. Rouse is totally excited about this, and he wants to mobilize the clergy to help fundraise. Can you imagine the day we're entering into, guys? Where, you know, Family Fed is always doing all of the work, even filling in the gaps for our Christian partners. But, you know, as we develop and as we love them and as we inherit from them, they will also inherit from us and love us in return and take care of True Parents with us, right? So this is the kind of heart that we're preparing for right now in this month of January, as we prepare for the new year and as we prepare for True Parents' birthday. What is the summit? What is the World Summit? You could say that all of the Chonoguk leaders meetings and all of the big stadium events in Korea and all of the ILC meetings and all of the Sunak Peace meetings, all of these things over the last 7 years have all been a dress rehearsal for the World Summit coming up at the beginning of February. And you could say in the same stance that all of the rallies, all of the blessings, all of the world tours were all a dress rehearsal for the victory that we did in New Jersey on Saturday, the 28th of December. So that was the foundation of faith. I think you're all up to speed with that, right? If any of you aren't, then ask Kayla, she'll tell you. This is the foundation of substance. This is the foundation of substance at the cosmic level. So in order to achieve the foundation of substance, we need to do what? We need to overcome the four fallen natures. We need to succeed in, looking from God's viewpoint, keeping our position, not reversing dominion and not multiplying evil. In other words, we need to do the good versions of all of that. We need to look at it. We need to look from God's viewpoint what's going on. We need to keep our positions and bring our offerings accordingly. We need to not reverse dominion and throw things out of whack. We need to stay in lockstep with our team leader, our central figure, the person that's representing true parents for us in our mission. And we need to multiply goodness. And the substantial offering that we're bringing to Korea are 300 plus VIPs in realms of not only religion, where we were working in our realm of faith, but in the realm of religion, education, economics, media, even science and politics, and others, I believe. So these are the areas that Mother wants to touch. She's bringing these world leaders together from all over the world. And ideally, this would be all heads of state coming together. So it's like Mother, in a sense, it's almost like she's rebuilding the UN. You've got your religious body of World Clergy Leadership Conference, and then you've got the World Summit representing all aspects of society leadership. So this is what we're working on right now. What does that mean to any of you guys in terms of your actual life? Well, it's good for you to know. Some of you may be on teams working in some capacity that's supporting this, but we also do need, some support actually. America is going to be given its own hotel in Seoul. It's called the Millennium Falcon. Actually, no, it's called the Millennium Hilton. And our 300 plus delegates and our own staff will be staying there. And we will be transported to the Kintex Stadium on a daily basis for the main summit events and the Sunak Peace Prize and all of that. And then we're going to go to Sorak, Cheongpyeong, for the main festival, True Parents' birthday celebration and blessing and all of that. So what we actually do need some very sharp, bright people to help us staff that. So the majority of you may not be able or willing, but that's something that for those of you that are looking for a gig, this is something that I just got off the phone with Dr. Jenkins. That's actually a practical way to contribute. If you'd like to be involved, email me or let Kayleigh know. But I just wanted to give you context into where we're at in the Providence right now. We are shifting and we are establishing foundation of faith and substance for that at the cosmic level. The only other thing I think is really providentially significant, Jinil actually brought this up in his Hundoke segment. Can you believe that the Messiah mentioned on record publicly the name Demian Dunkley? I'm just fooling around. No, I just realized that I didn't even realize. I heard it when she said it, but I'm just saying that's so interesting. But the part that I'm really proud about is the last part, and I understand why, Janelle, you shared the last part of the speech, because Mother's really inspired by the youth standing up. And for those of you that were there after Nassau, the testimony I gave after Nassau was, Mother, the victory was possible because of your fruit. And I honored Dr. Jenkins, I honored Dr. Kim Busing, I honored Stallings, I honored all those upper tier, first gen leaders that we know have been significant, but especially over the course of the last 3-4 years, I've been able to witness not just what they're doing today, but I've been able to glean, oh my God, the work that they've been doing all this time without the majority of us really understanding what it was about. And so in my testimony after Nassau, I thanked Mother for raising such incredible leaders. But the conclusion of that testimony was, Mother, the second generation is ready to stand up and inherit. And I believe that's what I'm witnessing on this call with all of you right now. Not just on this call, but it's not because the second gen haven't been willing or wanting, but we're in this incredible golden era of this bridging between first and second gen, this bridging between family and Providence, this bridging between everything that seemed to be a dichotomy. We're seeing how there's a sweet spot in the middle where even if we don't understand everything, our faith can lead us to an incredible promised land that our parents gave up everything for. So I'm inspired to be working with you guys. I'm really inspired to be seeing where the next 5-10 years take us. I promise you one thing, whatever your wildest imagination is about where we'll be in 10 years is too small for where we really need to be and where God wants us to be and where we can be if we unite. And my final point, testimony I gave this victory celebration was many things really about how amazing Mother is. But one significant point I mentioned, which Jinil, you left out of your Hunduke, is I asked Mother to receive not only the offering of all those gathered in the room and all those surely who worked hard for the campaign victory, but also the work of all those who have been working for the several decades. I asked Mother to receive the offering of the 2,000-year foundation of Christianity. But I also asked Mother to receive the offering of those who came and attended True Parents and may have left temporarily because of pain or other reasons. In other words, Mother, will you also accept the offerings of those who came and left? Some of those people are our own parents. Some of those people are our own brothers or sisters, siblings or friends. And the very first words out of Mother's mouth when she stood up and took the mic was this: I accept your offering. And I think that's really significant. I just wanted to share that with you because it's meaningful. It means a lot to me. Not just that I had an opportunity to share in front of Mother or that Mother said what she said, but I want you to know that that's what's in my heart. That's what's in my heart. That I want God to even receive the offering of those who came, they put something on the table, and then they left the building and they've been throwing eggs at the window ever since. Even their offering, I want God to receive, and I want at least a doggy door to be remaining open in the back door, a little doggy flap to be, a pet flap to be open to their return, or a side window open, or the front door, whatever it is. The point is, that's where my heart is at, and I want you as my young brothers and sisters to know that's who I am. That's the journey through which I came. That's what's important to me. And to answer your questions and your question, Kaylee, and many of you others that really wonder, where will we be if we keep going so fast, holding on to Mother and establishing an able group of supporters? Where will those who left be? Where will the bridges be if we run so fast and far away from them that we can't even find them anymore? I tell you this, nobody ever joined the church because of someone that was harboring a complaint. And nobody ever won a war because of someone who didn't really know what they were doing. Everyone that's moved by anything is moved because they're moved by a person
Reverend Dunkley, are you still there?
Damian, I think we lost you.
Did I get cut off?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
You-
sorry.
It was a really epic moment too.
Okay. So my point is this. Nobody ever joined anything because of someone complaining about that thing. Nobody ever joined anything or got on board with anything because someone who has folded arms about that thing. People are inspired by people who are inspired. And so what I'm saying is, don't worry. We will gather all of God's children. But in order to do so, we need 2 people, or 5 people, or 50 people, or 400 people who are willing to go the distance and are willing, like the early Christians and like the early pilgrims, and no one more like true parents themselves, willing to die for what it is God's calling them to do. I know what I was born for, therefore I know what I'm willing to die for. If I know what I'm born for, it's a complete waste of my time to live it for anything else other than what I was born for. And it's no problem to die. Do I want to see my great-grandchildren grow up? Yeah, of course. I'm not talking about actually dying. But in the modern world, what does it mean to die for something? I asked Bishop Jones this question. Bishop Jones, what does it mean today for the Christian clergy to be willing to die for something, or to be willing to risk their lives for something? He said that for the Christian leader today, willing to risk their lives, they're not going to be stoked up on a bed of kindling and asked to denounce their faith, otherwise burnt at the stake. That's not what they're being faced with. What they're going to be faced with is, he said, they're going to have to risk their work. They're going to have to put at risk their vineyard for which they have labored so meticulously. They are going to have to look beyond the walls of their own garden that they've been gardening with their fancy little gloves and their fancy little compost piles. And they're going to have to go into the greater garden that God has prepared, not only for them, but where all the other laborers and harvesters will meet. They need to be able to join in the greater works, even if it means that they're not the leader of it anymore, even if it means that what they were working on in their own garden seems to pale in comparison. If they're willing to overstep that wall and overcome that sense of loss, then they'll find that not only are their fruits gathered there also, not only are their works counted among the offering also, but they will find themselves a part of such an incredible work that their own lives, their own families, and their own legacies will be restored to something far greater than they could have imagined. This is what it is to risk their life for a Christian pastor today. In other words, I stand by true parents, and I'm willing to risk my congregation to say so. That's what it is. Now, if a Christian pastor is not willing, even if they feel the dream, even if they see the Spirit, even if they catch a glimpse of it, if they're not willing to put in their prayer time and make the dedication and discern for themselves and find out for themselves, goddammit, who true parents are, then how can they possibly call themselves a leader? How can they call themselves a Christian, much less a Christian leader, if they're not even willing to risk their pocketbook, when Christian missionaries with a far less understanding of the will hundreds of years ago gladly gave their lives, not symbolically, literally gave their lives in order to stand by God and God's will. You understand me? So what is it for you, second generation, to risk your life? What is it for you as a young unificationist to risk your life? I'm not trying to start some new radical movement here, okay? But I am one that likes to get to the point. Because however, the harder you hold on to the sand in the palm of your hand, the more it will escape you. You need to be ready to take a step back and take a bigger look at things and assess for yourself, discern for yourself, pray for yourself, and know this: your faith is more important than your knowledge. And by definition, your faith needs to be greater than your knowledge. So don't expect to always understand everything at first pass. Don't always expect, don't just wait to move until you understand everything. Because if you're expecting your knowledge to be equal or greater to your faith, then what value is your faith? And the message that Kayleigh quoted that I mentioned in DC is this: if everything is going according to my plan, then I must be doing something wrong, because my plan surely cannot be complete. Surely my plan cannot also include the X factor that God wants to put in the thing. So if it's all going according to my plan, then I'm just making something made of man. And oh my God, I'm sick of the world made of man. I need to be wowed by God every day. I need to be wowed by that thing I couldn't foresee or I couldn't plan. Yes, I need to have a plan, and it should be anchored in my knowledge and understanding of what God wants me to do. But it's my faith that I need to fill in that gap, to make space for me to stretch beyond what I know I can do and allow some space for God to do what he has to do and what she has to do. That is why we need our faith. And by God, young unificationists, don't think for a moment that you don't need faith. Adam and Eve, also born sinless, like you, needed to establish a foundation of faith and substance. This is not just in the realm of restoration. So we need faith. That means even though the thing might appear ludicrous, by definition, God is going to speak to you in an unexpected way. There's no account in human history of God appearing to anyone in a way that they expected. But your heart can feel the pulse of it. Your spirit can discern the vibration of it, especially you young unificationists. You have that power, so pray about it and use it, and know that you are so blessed to do things so great that all of your ancestors, all those good ones that died for the will without even understanding it, they wish they could be your small toe. They wish they could be your pinky. But guess what? It's us. It's us that get to leave an incredible legacy at the time of our true parents. I love True Mother. She's awesome. When you get me on the call next time, I'll tell you about the horseradish story. But for now, that's it.
Wow. We can unmute everybody. And let's give Reverend Demian a round of thanks. Thank you so much. Woo! God, I'm fired up. That's exciting. Man, he covered a lot of things. Luckily, we have this recorded, so if you ever want to go back and you need to receive that again, man. Reverend Demian, I know you're in the car, but everyone's like saying, wow, lots of O's, lots of W's. There's some questions here. Reverend Demian, are you open to answering a question?
Yeah. I'm here.
Hyunggil Woo is asking, Reverend Demian, what do you mean that faith is more important than knowledge?
Knowledge is important, but sometimes we find ourselves not willing to move our bodies in the direction that God is calling us, or the direction that true parents are calling us, because we don't fully understand the thing that we're being asked to do. And while we have built literally higher education, university, on the word why can sometimes be the word that ensnares you from acting according to your faith. So you won't really know anything. You can know something intellectually, but you won't really know the thing until you've actually gone beyond what you thought you knew into activating what your faith is driving you to do, and then you know the fullness of the thing. And many people, many of us, many times find ourselves too cautious with our faith because we don't understand it all yet. That's why you need faith. If you could understand it before it happened or before you needed to do it completely, then what would your faith be for?
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Demian. Very true. Very true. Okay. Yeah, he covered a lot in this call, and specifically speaking to us on this understanding that we may not fully understand everything going on, which half the time, and especially for those any of you guys leaders of any in any way that you're a leader, half the time we have no idea what we're doing. And I feel like that's been the case for the entirety of this movement. We may not know what we're doing, but we trust, especially we trust those who represent our true parents. And of course we trust True Mother. And that's, I guess, like it's a part of the loving true mother aspect of it, is that we love true mother. And part of that is that we trust that she's leading us and directing us in the right direction, right? And wherever we go, it's not always, many times we may hesitate and we may question a lot of different things. And I actually had an experience of that today. Even I was in the elevator with Reverend Green going up to the New Yorker, and Reverend Green's like this like really spiritual guy, and he knew that I went to the Holy Ground yesterday. And like in this packed out elevator, he like, it was just random people. He like randomly asked me, and kind of really loud, like everyone was there. He was like, "So did you like experience the spirit world at the Holy Ground?" And I was just like, what? This is the middle of the elevator. Like no one's talking. Everyone's looking at their phones. And in that moment, like my mind immediately went to like this like embarrassing place where it's just like, oh my God, Reverend Green, why are you asking me about holy grounds and spirit world? There's all these people around. And in that moment, I repent for it now, but in that moment I choked up, and I knew like my experience of the Holy Ground yesterday was unbelievable. Like I honestly, like it touched my heart in a way that like honestly, I felt uncomfortable being here in New York until I went to that Holy Ground place, and I was just praying there. Like I felt the spirit world there. But like my response to him was just like, oh yeah, I mean, it was nice. Good bonding, like with the people I was with. And yeah, it was like right after I said that, like I could feel like a hurt in my heart, like a repentance. It was just like, and it stuck with me the entire day until right before this call. And it was just like, man, like in that moment, I had a chance to just say what I really wanted to say in my heart. And it was like God tests us. So even in the small things that we do, like those moments, it's God tests us and tests whether we can just stand and be proud of what we are and who we represent, and of our true mother. And I find that, especially as like we're going towards this foundation of substance, that's a lot of what it is. And I really liked what he said. It's about staying in step with our able figure. So with Reverend Dunkley and Dr. Kim, and of course our ultimate able true mother, just being in step with her and making sure that in those moments, yeah, it's okay to like I'm sharing honestly. It's like I really feel repentful for that, but like tomorrow, I certainly won't make that mistake. Right? Like I learned it's like, okay, that's just a reminder.
It's funny if you told him, like if you told him what you just told us, it's like, well, honestly, I couldn't really feel comfortable here in New York until I went to the Holy Ground, and I just feel so much better. They all would have said, hey, where's the Holy Ground?
Yeah. That's true. Man, okay, I got more to repent for. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like all those people could have been touched by something.
Or they could have just looked at you weird, like you anticipated.
Yeah, either way, still touched by something. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna end this. Let's give Reverend Dunkley another appreciation and thank you. Thank you.
One more time.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Yeah, love you too. Here's the challenge. The challenge is, as we once we get off this call, we're gonna end it 5 minutes early. So you have 4 minutes. Just right after this call, don't go straight to talking to someone. Go straight to a prayer. Can we all do that? We're gonna end this call a little bit early and just take a moment to let that sink in prayer, and let's get the spirit moving, especially with this group. If Mother's saying that she's proud of us taking the lead, then yeah, let's definitely do it and lay a strong condition. So thank you, everybody. Please have a powerful prayer, and thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next week. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Bye.
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 Bye.